Hello and welcome to the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Recorded at the 33 1/3 Music Appreciation Center in Speakeasy, located just outside of Detroit, Michigan. The Infectious Groove Podcast is your source for jammy jams, music news, and the best in-depth music discussion. Thanks for joining us. Now here are your hosts.
What is up, y'all? My name is Russ, and along with me, as always, are Michelle and Kyle, and you are now soaking in the Infectious Groove Podcast. Michelle.
That's disgusting.
That's what you said, that, not me.
I did?
Yep.
That's weird. It sounded like your voice.
It just came out of your mouth. You said that's disgusting. I don't think it's disgusting. I'm super excited that people are soaking in the Infectious Groove Podcast. Yes, absolutely.
Soaking in what? Okay, bye.
So this week, we are doing a crowdsourced album review. And for anybody who hasn't been along with the ride with us, every other episode is an album review episode, and usually we rotate through Michelle, Kyle, and I for picks, and then the fourth pick is always a listener pick. And this week, Seth, who is a very loyal listener, this is the one episode where we don't have a voicemail from Seth, by the way.
Damn it, Seth.
I know. Are you kidding me with that? But Seth has picked for us to review, and I have to say, this is the most excited I've seen Kyle about an album review in quite some time.
He's going to be even more excited when it's my turn.
Oh, boy. My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade, is the album that we are going to review in the second half of the episode. Well, Michelle and I are going to. I think Kyle's just going to sit here and grunt. Just some stuff like that. And yeah, by the way, we very much appreciate the listeners, of course, and we very much appreciate the time it takes for people to even care what we think about their album reviews and then give us album reviews. But prior to hitting record today, Michelle detailed that she has already got her next two picks, and I feel like Kyle and I are not going to be happy with either of them.
That's no, it's on now.
Who did anything to you?
What? Both of you. Just take a look at yourselves.
Solid straw man argument.
These fucks. Whoa, 2 minutes in?
Boy, yep. you mentioned one time that you're soaking in the podcast and Michelle gets all riled up. Holy cow. A couple of just housekeeping type issues to mention before we get into the regular segments. One is I always mention that you can leave reviews for us anywhere, and we greatly appreciate it. And we do have reviews to share this week. I always mention that you can share feedback on any one of our social media outlets, or you can call 313-364-9899. We have more feedback to share. And recently, now and again, I've mentioned that you can go to patreon.com/infectiousgroupodcast and support the show for as little as $1 a month. And we, this week, had someone choose to do that. And I really appreciate that. So,
yay!
Yeah. Yes. And we do have a group of supporters who have been there, I think, almost since day one. Mm-hmm. But it's nice when somebody else does, so we greatly appreciate that. And we are very, very, very thankful for that, because it helps us with just keep this whole thing going and, buy more materials for people to soak in. I'm just going to keep up on that, because you looked devastated when I used that verbiage.
I don't know what it is we're soaking in.
Fantastic. Let's move on.
Feedback, John.
Don't worry about that. Right. Rock and roll me without feedback.
From Twitter, we had some Michelle and Kyle-centric feedback that came in this week, which says, I was today years old when I realized that Kyle and Michelle are together. He mentioned something about living with Michelle, and then Michelle referred to the baby as, quote, our baby, which confirmed it for me. Am I the only one who didn't know this? Hashtag feeling stupid. And I replied on Twitter and said that, don't feel dumb for that. It's not a focal point of the show. Now, if you two ever want to start a second podcast about your relationship issues where, you yell at each other, I will produce that show.
Burning Down the House?
But yeah. Who does that song?
The Commodores.
Yes. The Commodores do Burning Down the House. You're thinking of Brick House.
We do this all the time. I'm having the worst deja vu.
And Burning Down the House is Talking Heads.
That's what I said.
Yeah. And they're almost the same group.
You misheard it.
They're almost the same group.
Brick House, Burning Down the House.
Yeah.
Tomato, potato.
So we had that tweet from a listener, and then we had a follow-up tweet from another listener that said, I just started following earlier this year, or I just started listening earlier this year and didn't know that off the bat either, but I think it's a great dynamic. So at least somebody's happy with your relationship.
Yeah.
The users seem happy. Listeners seem happy about it. We got an email from Dayton, and there are points in this that I'm going to address at the end of the email. I'm just going to read it straight through. Dayton sent us an email that says, hi again, guys. I just finished the Parker Millsap episode. Great interview. I started streaming his latest album and I'm getting into it. About going to live shows, I had tickets to see Dream Theater in Cincinnati, but it's been postponed. I also chickened out of seeing Death Angel, Exodus, and Testament in a small enclosed venue. I really want to get back to seeing live concerts, but I guess I'm going to prioritize. I gave the live Elvis record a listen, and I appreciate what he did for music, but I can only take him in small doses. I'm not a fan. Please don't hate me. It says in the email. On Russell's recommendation, I did give Pink Floyd The Division Bell a spin. I liked it more than Michelle did. Well, who didn't? But I'm still more partial to their 1970s music. I'd buy the CD if I found it cheap. I want to thank you guys again for being both entertaining and educational. Music is an important part of my life, and your podcast helps me experience different artists. Keep it up. So sorry this email is long. First of all, never apologize. Like, we want all of the feedback and as much detail as you want to send. Plus, Michelle gets to learn from the emails about things like what we've talked on the show about.
That's why I like when people say that I'm nice and do fun things.
I did not gather that from that email.
There was nothing about that. Wait, are you trying to put that message out there for people to write us an email or leave us a tweet saying you're nice and do fun things?
I just want you to know, every time you say we have feedback, in my mind, it just goes, Michelle's
It's Michelle-centric,
great.
yeah.
It's all, she's amazing.
Like, while I'm talking, what you hear is,
yes,
Michelle is great, Michelle is great, Michelle's great. Sorry, this email was long. P.S. Michelle is great.
That's not what that email said?
No, believe it or not.
Maybe this is why I don't know what we talk about.
Right, exactly. So the first thing I wanted to address was the I'm not an Elvis fan, don't hate me. Like, and Michelle knows this more than anybody probably, is I used to be that guy where if you were like, like, I'm not an Elvis fan, I would be like, get out.
I've seen him get out nunchucks before.
I will put my black belt to good use. But the stuff we talk about, we're always trying to get people into new artists, and if you like some of them, great, and if you don't, that's cool too. Like, there's plenty of stuff people listen to that I don't ever want to hear again, And to me, the big thing is giving it a chance, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy went in knowing that he wasn't that big of a fan of Elvis, and he gave it a chance anyways, So, and then the Parker Millsap record he's getting into.
To each their own, bro.
Yeah, so no, you don't ever have to apologize to us, and certainly don't apologize to us for.
Don't apologize to anybody for what you listen to.
Exactly, yeah, or for length of emails. But if you can in the future, please include that Michelle is fun and nice.
Fun and great.
Yes. Listener Ryan, in response to our Parker Millsap interview, said, "Well, here we go again, another artist on my list that I have to check out. Seriously, great episode and great interview. I really enjoyed this one, so I thought that was cool."
Nothing about me, huh?
Yeah, that's weird. You have to figure you played Parker Millsap for me first, and then like 6 years later, I got to interview him for our show. So really, that's about you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So 6 degrees of Michelle. We received a 5-star review this week that I wanted to share with everybody. It says, I am probably going to repeat a lot of what you see in other reviews here, but Infectious Groove deserves all the praise that they get. This is a quintessential listen for any music fan out there. The hosts all have different genre tastes and perspectives. They cover everything from albums to concerts. They share music-related stories. It's a great podcast for those looking for new music to sink their teeth into. Give it a listen and make sure to subscribe today, which I thought was fantastic. And really, again, it says all three hosts, but really they meant you.
That's all I heard.
Yeah.
I'm the heel.
Yes. Another 5-star review that we got this week said this was a review specifically of last week's episode, because in Good Pods you can review like individual episodes. So it said, I instantly had an appreciation for Parker Millsap and will definitely be checking out his music. Russ did an amazing job leading this interview, which sounded more like a normal conversation. I always love hearing from artists that show their human side instead of their performances. And the way Parker talks about music was so refreshing. It sounds like he's doing what he was born to do. So I thought that was fantastic as well. And sorry that it only mentioned me. I don't know what to do about that.
Oh, I spaced out. What were we talking about?
Yeah. Well, going forward, I would like for our listeners to really work on that. And please make sure to mention Michelle and everything. I don't know why everybody can't be like Jamie, who every time he comments tags you in some way.
So that I can see it.
And then reminds you of what we even talked about in the first place.
He's the real MVP.
He is. Nick shares this feedback from us from last week and says, great interview with Parker. I've only heard a couple of his songs, but after that interview, I will definitely check out more of his music. Can't wait to hear your review of The Black Parade. It's an album I've loved since the first time I heard it back in 2006. And in my opinion, it's one of the top 5 albums of the 2000s. I was supposed to see them on their reunion tour last year, but it was pushed back to 2022. Since it's pushed back to next year, Kyle, you going to grab some tickets to that
Love
then?
is a very, very strong word. I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right. But good news, though. With the tour being pushed back, you can still get tickets and go.
Yes.
Much like Michelle is super excited about the Roger Waters tour being for next year because she may have missed out on tickets before, but now you can go.
Well, if I see them on this tour, I'm sure they're going to do the Black Parade, and so like that would be just like seeing the wall, right?
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And I totally am not going to cover that at all in the second half
I
of the
couldn't
episode.
find that. I wanted to look it up and either read it or watch it.
It was the VMA pre-show from 2006. I know because I almost fell off the couch when it happened.
Well, I'm going to go back and look at it.
Speaking of the Black Parade, earlier today, you know how Kelly Clarkson does a different cover every day on her TV show, and they put it up on the YouTube channel? I kid you not, the cover she did yesterday was the Black Parade, which I can only assume is because she's trying to ride off the buzz of our episode next week.
You mean Welcome to the Black Parade?
Sure. She covered the whole song, the whole album.
Whoa!
But I can only assume she's doing it because there's going to be so much buzz on this album next week with our episode coming out. So Kelly's like, well, let me just ride that,
They're probably going to go on tour after we do this episode because people are just going to be like, just bombarding them with.
The Infectious Screw podcast presents the Black Parade tour.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Michelle and Russ present the Black Parade tour.
Kyle's going to babysit.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, moving right along. Our jammies. So, I have a couple of things, and I'll start out with the most serious one first. The latest Brandi Carlile album is every bit as good as you hear that it is.
Damn it, I forget she exists all the time.
Yeah, I'm real aware of that. Every single time, you've seen her in concert, and every single time she comes up, you're like, oh yeah, she's a thing.
And I like her.
Yes.
I've seen some of her TikToks.
We've discussed this ad nauseum on the show, and I try hard not to be like the music snob guy, but like people keep acting like she just came to be.
Yeah,
And
I don't understand.
the first time I heard Brandi Carlile was the song "The Story" in 2007, and I adore that song. And then everything she's done, like I haven't been like super duper into her career, but I've never heard anything I've disliked, but her latest record is called In These Silent Days, and there's a lot of industry buzz on it. She was on SNL, and I'm a little irritated that people keep acting like it's one thing if you've never heard of her before, but people keep acting like no one's ever heard of her before. But this record, it deserves all of the praise that it gets. Like she's going to get a ton of new fans out of this record. And there's just not a bad song on it. And I really wish, Michelle, that you would, one of the fun things that you would do is to remember that she exists and listen to this album, because I think you would like it a lot. I feel like that we've talked about this on the show before. There's not enough strong women voices in music, and there really haven't been. It's a long history of it. And this woman has a strong artistic voice to share. So,
all right, remind me.
Okay, will do. There's that, and then I've had 2 just huge earworms stuck in my head all week for no reason. They just popped into my head, and I know you guys know that I do this every so often on Twitter. I'll just put out a tweet that just says I have this song stuck in my head, and I'll say the artist and the name of the song, and they get a lot of traction. Like people who don't even follow us across the world will see the tweet somehow and be like, like, oh my God, that song's stuck in my head. So this week with both of these songs, I just tweeted in all caps the first line of the song, and boy, oh man, there was a lot of happy people and a lot of unhappy people that were like, damn it, I have that stuck in my head now.
Well, now I'm curious. One
of which was Nights on Broadway by the Bee Gees, which you would know as the theme song for the Barry Gibb talk show on SNL. Here we are in a room full of strangers, So I put that out in all caps, and like there was about half the internet was happy about it, and the other half of the internet was not happy.
The Bee Gees are not my jam.
I know, it's upsetting. And then it's extremely for me. And then the other one was The Outfield, Your Love. And
I heard that twice today on the radio.
It's such a great song.
But like, why today?
I don't know. Tony Lewis already passed away, so it's not like they're just playing it a lot because he passed. But I tweeted in all caps, just Josie's on a vacation far away, and there was a lot of love and a lot of hate. So a lot of people were like, son of a bitch, now I have that stuck in my head. And I just kept replying with various you're welcome gifts, no matter if they were happy or not.
Were you like, I had the pleasure of seeing them live for 2 hours?
Tony Lewis, we did.
Yeah.
We didn't see the whole outfield. So anyways, that was my thing was I've been listening to a ton of that Brandi Carlile record. And then just, there was at least one whole day this week where in my head at all times was just, here we are in a room. And then the next day was just like Bee Gees packed up and left the room, and then the outfield moved in. Yeah, just earworms. And of course they'll be on our playlist, but I'm certain every person listening to this episode right now has those songs stuck in their head.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah, hey, no problem. It's one of the many services I provide. Kyle, what are your jammy jams?
For the most part, I'm still listening to that Big Sean EP.
Right on.
What you expect.
Yeah. It's good that it's sticking with you that long.
Yeah, and some of it is because some funny shit got brought up where Kanye West did this hilarious interview on this. I think it's actually a podcast.
I don't mean this to be a dick, but intentionally hilarious.
Well,
he was so off the reservation.
No, he's both intentionally hilarious and then accidentally hilarious. It's a podcast. I think it's actually a podcast. The only time I ever see it is on YouTube. So I believe that they put the audio on podcast platforms and then the videos on YouTube.
Right.
But it's called Drink Chaps, and it's just the rapper Noriega has random guests on there. Most of them are musicians. Actually, I think probably all of them are. But anyways, they end up drinking and just talking hilarious shit, and it's funny. So Kanye West was on there.
So they stole our idea.
Yes.
Who do we get paid from that?
Yeah, I know.
Who gives us money?
We need to get us a lawyer.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, so go on, sir.
So he made an appearance on there, and I heard all the buzz about it, and I finally went and watched it, and it was just as hilarious as I thought it was going to be.
Right on.
And he, at one part, started to say that one of the biggest mistakes in his entire career was signing Big Sean to his record label.
Okay.
So, but it was just based around the fact that Big Sean didn't support him running for president.
Oh, well.
That, not because he was not talented.
A lot of people, I can share this info now. That's why I wasn't signed by Kanye. Because I didn't support him for president, so he turned me down.
Damn it, Russ.
Yeah.
So not only is the EP good, but I found myself going back and listening to it because he'd been mentioned a bunch of times in the press and whatnot. But beyond that, I made a couple discoveries. One being that Billie Eilish is a badass.
You know what's funny is I blind bought her second album on vinyl. I'm sure other people have heard all of this music ad nauseum. I have not heard one song on this album, and I blind bought it, and I'm really excited about it. Is that the one you're talking about, or all of her music?
Just in general.
Okay.
The second one's much different than the first one.
I like how you say discovered like the whole world hasn't known about it.
Well, no, so
he's like, hey, everybody.
I was very, very, very against her.
Yeah.
All the shit that was on the radio, like, I hate the way that her vocals sound, where she sounds like she's singing to a fan half the time.
Right.
But then I watched this documentary about her, and she's a fucking really talented.
Her and her brother, man.
A really talented girl who just sits in a bedroom in her parents' house and records all this music with her brother. Yes.
Phineas has a solo record out now, too. Yeah.
And goddamn, she's
the real deal, man.
She really is. So I watched that documentary and I was like, man, like, I don't know why I was hating on her so bad for so long.
Yeah.
Because
you're a bully.
It takes a lot for me to just drop and blind buy something that's like part of pop culture. But like, I'd heard and seen enough of her being the real deal that I was like, I'm just going to give up and buy this album. So.
Yeah, man. I cannot remember what the hell the documentary is called, but it gives you an inside look at her recording her first album.
Yeah.
And man, she's just super fucking talented.
Yeah.
Along with her brother.
Yeah. And I want to listen to that Phineas record too, because since he produces all her stuff, I'm sure it's great.
Yep.
What else you got?
So I also discovered that Limp Bizkit released a new album.
Yeah. We actually, Seth actually sent us a DM on Twitter and wanted your opinion on that record, and I was supposed to tell you to listen to it. And
I just happened to
say that again.
Yeah, I was supposed to tell Kyle. Are you ready? Are you with me on that?
I'm so far.
I was supposed to tell Kyle, and then I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but dude, I have a friend who lives in Australia who sends me a Facebook message once a day about how good this Limp Bizkit album is.
So what I was going to say is that I've only listened to about half of it, but it is very much the Limp Bizkit that we all knew from 15, 20 years ago.
Are they all about the nookie?
It sounds so much like what we know as what they used to be, that like I was very impressed by what it is. It's very much a Limp Bizkit album, and it very much sounds just like other Limp Bizkit albums.
The thing from Seth was, I'm enjoying this and I'm upset about it.
Yeah.
But my buddy in Australia is like a metal dude.
Yeah.
Like he's like Zakk Wylde, Metallica guy. And he's like, dude, this out like every day he sends me a message about how much he likes this album.
You did that to me when Kelly Clarkson's new album came out.
It's because it's the best album she's ever done, and she'll never top it. Go on.
Like I said, I'm like halfway through it, and we all seen that footage of him at whatever festival that was.
Bonnaroo,
Dressed like an old.
Yeah, where he was like trying to be funny the way he was dressed, and he was just bombing the entire time.
Yep.
And I was very much like, oh, well, that ship sailed, so you should just stop.
Right.
But then I'm listening to this, and it very much, he still has the power to be the frontman of Limp Bizkit.
He still has a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
Weird how that was almost like a PR move.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Now we're still talking about it, and now they have an album come out.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've done a terrible job at advertising because I just happened upon it when I was on Spotify.
Yeah.
You just were like looking up. What is Limp Bizkit
it was
doing?
It was in the new releases, and I was like, what the hell? How is this
Kyle's
a new
just laying
release?
in bed looking up. I wonder if Limp Bizkit is under these same stars right now.
What is Fred Durst thinking about right now?
Is Fred Durst looking at the same moon I am? He Googled it, and it was like, listen to the new album. Holy shit. But yeah, so Variety, Big Sean, Billie Eilish, in general, just listening to all of her stuff. And, well, yeah, pick some tracks from her stuff, whatever, and put it on there. And then I heard great buzz on her second one, so that's why I just gave up and blind bought it. And that Limp Bizkit, I was never a fan of the first. Like, the only band I've ever openly hated on is obviously Creed, right?
Yeah.
Like when Creed was a thing, I was just openly, like I damn near had picket signs that I was like walking around with. And Limp Bizkit's just one of those bands that when they were big, I wasn't like, oh, this is the worst thing. It just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
You know? So if it's more of the same, I probably won't.
Yes,
like
it's just Limp Bizkit, and they definitely had their period of time where they fit in perfectly to what was going on. I mean, that's not now.
Yeah.
But they are still trucking along, and it's the same.
I always praise Poison did the exact same thing in '97. They put out a record called Crack a Smile that is Poison doing Poison stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, and if you liked Poison before, you're gonna love that album. And if you don't, then there's nothing new for you there.
Yeah.
You know? And they did it at a time where exactly that. Like there was a time and place where Poison was all over mainstream media
right.
because everyone else was like them, right?
Yeah.
And in '97, everybody was, real serious rock and alternative and R&B. Well, rap and R&B was enormous at that time. And then Poison was just like, hey, tits and beer still, So like for me though, I was like, hell yeah.
Yes,
I loved
tits and beer.
Yeah. Well, I loved what Poison did in the first place, you know? So like, I will take more of that. So I could see Limp Bizkit fans being like, hell yeah, more of that.
Yeah,
you know? Michelle, we've had such a great time with this segment so far. Please don't put the brakes on it. Do you have Jammy Jams?
Which NPR podcast did you listen to this week?
Yeah, I know.
Up first.
She meant to listen to the Muck podcast and still didn't.
Yeah, you have to remind me of that too.
I remind you of that several times.
Okay, I don't even know what I had for breakfast this morning. You have to keep on it.
That's on me.
I'm pulling a Kyle, and I have an album.
Oh.
So after listening to the Black Parade, I went back and listened to my favorite My Chem album, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, and I've been listening to that. I go back and forth between the two albums all week, and it's been great.
Right on. Sounds like a great time for you.
yeah, that sounds like, yep.
And no one else.
What's wrong with My Chem?
I will get into that in the second half of the episode when we review what I think is their most revered album.
To everyone else.
3 Cheers, or what is it?
3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge.
There we go.
How many albums do they have?
3, I think.
Long and illustrious career.
Let's see. Maybe it's way more than 3. Oh, it's way more than 3.
Were they a thing?
8, I think.
Were they a famous thing before the Black Parade came out?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Not Okay is on their second album.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's on 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. So
You know what?
that was like what broke them. And I think.
Let's take a break and talk more about it. I totally sat here and let that whole thing go away
I
from me.
got carried away. Sorry.
No, 100% on me. So we are going to take a break, and if you don't like the My Chemical Romance, then now's your time to go back and listen to old episodes where we don't talk about My Chemical.
Fast forward to the end of this one.
Yeah, or just see us in about 20 minutes. You are listening to the Infectious Groove Podcast on the Odd Pods Media Network. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Richie.
I'm Little Matt.
And here in the 500 Section Lounge, we are 3 dads who host a family-friendly weekly podcast.
Yep, we laugh, we go on tangents, we talk to great guests.
Tangents. I don't know what you're talking about with that. You know, there are gases leaking.
All right, okay.
Yeah, we have legendary conversations from sports to history and everything in between.
So be on the lookout for what we do next.
And always be there to
Grab a listen.
Hey, I'm Lauren.
And I'm John.
And we host the Beard Al Podcast, the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al.
And a lot of other things. We're funny.
Yeah, that's basically what I told him to say. Good job with your script.
Listened.
Yay! But no, seriously, we try and pair a beer with a Weird Al song and talk about both things and go where the conversation takes us. It's fun, I promise. You'll like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like talking about random things as well as, you know, fine craft beers and some wonderful craft music.
Craft music, I love it.
But not craft singles. So far, this promo is going about as smoothly as one of our episodes.
Absolutely. If this has enticed you in any way, please go to beardalpodcast.com.
http://www.beardalpodcast.com. I repeat, http if you want it to be secure, https://www.beardalpodcast.com.
Bye.
Bye.
We are back, Russ, Michelle, and Kyle, in our album review segment. Sorry, I biffed all of that.
The way you came back, you're like, we're back, Russ.
Yeah.
Kyle and Michelle.
So we are back. Russ, Kyle, and Michelle getting into our album review, and I will just hit the drop and get out of this.
The Infectious Groove Podcast.
Album review.
Oh, I'm sure I'll say something dumb.
That drop helps me put the focus back on Michelle.
Did we just witness you have an out-of-body experience?
Oh, boy.
Auto-body experience? An auto-body experience?
All right. Let's start clean. We do album reviews every other episode, and generally what we did when we first started doing this in every other episode is we rotated through the three of us, and then we had a listener. I don't even remember who suggested it, but a listener suggested that we should throw audience members in the mix, and we started doing that. So every fourth album review that we do is one picked by a listener, and Seth, a regular listener and supporter of the show, big supporter of the show, and always has feedback for us, was patiently waiting for his turn to pick an album for us to review. And he settled on My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade, which was released October 23rd, 2006. And we'll get into it in a little bit, but when I looked up the release date for this, I was like, that makes total sense because VMAs are always in September. So they would have been doing like the pre-interviews, you know, and I'm like, that's when that guy said the thing that made me not.
I still don't believe that happened because I couldn't find it on the internet.
It absolutely happened.
Prove it.
Why would I make that up?
Why would you make that up?
Exactly.
Just to hurt me.
To be fair, you can't find a lot of stuff on the internet.
Shut. I find plenty.
She's like, right now I'm at goggle.com and it's not coming up with anything.
I Googled it.
Yeah, I Googled it. So with this album pick, we got into a little bit about My Chem in the first half, and emo as a whole, which is mostly their genre, is just not my thing. But I did like some of the stuff that I had heard prior to the Black Parade. Like when this was coming out, I wasn't like, oh, this is going to be a huge deal for me. And I was like, oh boy, here we go again. I just was like, oh, well, yeah, I've heard a couple of songs from that band. Like I had never bought any of their albums prior, but when you or any of the people that we worked with would play them, I wouldn't be like, stop it. You know, again, where like they weren't in the Creed.
My people.
Yes, your people. They weren't in the Creed category where I was ever like, stop playing that right now. You know what I mean? Like I would just be like, oh, okay, well, it's Lord willing, the song's only 4 minutes long, you know? And I never really disliked anything that they did, but I didn't love them either. So, but I remember there being huge buzz, like, oh boy, this is going to be a big album. Like, this is going to be a big deal on this album before it came out.
Yeah, why was it a bit? He like changed the whole way he looked and everything for this album?
So I watched an interview with him this morning, trying to find this other
Him being Gerard Way.
with all of them this morning. I was trying to find this mythical interview that Russ keeps mentioning. But they said that this album is put on by their alter ego, which is also called the Black Parade. And so that's like they changed. They said we're still My Chemical Romance, but the album Black Parade is Why do you keep rolling your eyes?
There was an album that came out in November of 1979 where a band had an alter ego that was doing the entire album, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. I'm just wondering where they got the idea from. Yeah. I just actually saw.
Homage.
I was watching a video today, and the guy said it's an homage, and he goes, "Well, what's that?" He goes, "Oh, it's when you go on your keyboard and you hit Control Z and then or Control C and then Control V." But yeah, so it's interesting that in this very real interview, that he had the nerve to say that it's this generation's The Wall. What with all of the similarities that I'm hearing from you right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
But I actually saw them on this tour right before the album came out. I think it was the summer of 2006 is when I saw them in Orlando.
And they were already doing the whole record?
They were definitely doing stuff from it, and I remember it being just... I've seen them several times, and they put on a great show.
Right on. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them, now that I come to think of it. I really don't. Like, I would have never saw them on purpose, but they would have been with, like, other people, and I don't think I ever ended up at a show.
They, like, played at the 89X things, I think, a couple times downtown. And,
yeah. For those not Detroit, 89X is, like, our local... Whatever, in every city that you're listening to us, they have what they call the alternative station.
It's country now.
Yeah, it used to be, yeah.
Yeah, but for years,
Yeah.
89X was, like, it's the first place I ever heard Nine Inch Nails or Tool, that type of thing. They used to play KMFDM, that type of thing.
Yeah.
For you, Kyle, like, did you have any background with them before this came out, or like, were you just heard them here and there, and they same thing as me, or did you openly dislike them?
For a period of time, they were in the Air Supply, right, on TRL and all sorts of shit and everywhere. So like that I'm Not Okay song, like there's that, which is not on this album, but. And
you knew of
yeah,
of
yeah. So I knew of them. I didn't know anything about them. I kind of distanced myself from that genre of music to begin with.
I hear it. I'm going to mispronounce this. They had another big hit before the Black Parade. Helena or Helena?
I think it's Helena.
Okay. Either way you pronounce it, I know that was a hit before.
Yes.
And I like that song a lot, actually. I remember my son's mom was like, "Oh, you got to hear this song." And I heard it, and I love that song. And then to the rest of the music, I was like, "No, thank you." So
hard pass for you.
Yeah. So, but we always go through, and I'll get into the open discussion. There was a very real interview that turned me off to this album, and I will explain that in a little bit. But what we do on the show is now normally, like if one of us picks the album, we will go through a big, huge thing of why we picked this album and brought it to everybody. So that's kind of why, in lieu of that on this episode, we were just kind of discussing like our background with the band and this album. And one of us very much came into this liking the album far more than the other two. So this will be interesting. Yeah. It's you. You're the one who came into this liking the album more than
I liked
Kyle
it to
and I.
begin with.
Yes, you came into
So wait,
this.
is this a spoiler alert?
No.
What is happening right now?
You came into this episode liking it more than we did.
Jesus Christ.
That is true.
Yes, it is true.
I'm with you now.
Right. So we always start off by discussing what we think the best tracks on the album are. And I'll just start with me and go around the room on these. And what's funny is for, 5 years after this album came out, I refused to listen to like any of it ever at all. Because, and we'll get to it in a minute, a very real interview that turned me off to listening to this album. And somehow I heard Teenagers either on the radio or something, and I was like, well, this is the best song I've heard in like the last 10 years. And I was super excited about the song, and still am. And when I found out what it was from, I felt dirty and awful and upset. And I never went back and listened to the entire record because there absolutely was no way that I was going to do that. They were not going to trick me with their tomfoolery and their one good song. So for me, that is still hands down the best song. After having listened to this album like 5 or 6 times in full now, that is still hands down the best song on the album for me. Dead, I also like a great deal, which has like a I Want You to Want Me feel to it. Like it's got like that rock shuffle feel, and which is not, I'm not saying that as an insult. I was just like, I kept checking Spotify, like, cause I had it on my laptop while I was working, and I kept looking over being like, did I click on Cheap Trick on accident? Or is this like still?
I can definitely see that.
And then Cancer, I think, is a great ballad.
It is.
That is a fantastic. Confirmed. Confirmed, Kyle. So I think Cancer is a fantastic ballad. So for me, I came into this being like, well, if nothing else, in 40 or so minutes, I'm going to like that 2.5 minutes, and I came out of it with 3 that I genuinely really like all 3 of those songs a great deal. Kyle, is there any chance you liked anything on this album?
I want to say that I want to thank Seth for picking this album, because I would have never in a million years listened to anything off of this.
Yeah, me too. Well, other than Teenagers, which was not my fault.
Because I absolutely despise Welcome to the Black Parade.
The title cut.
That song is literally in the same category as Pharrell's Happy. Right up there.
Damn.
I dislike it a lot.
It's one of my stinkers.
Yeah. So based upon hearing that and knowing that song and seeing the videos and whatnot, I would never played this in a million years.
Yep.
So upon playing it, I found myself lost and jamming along with it. Well, I was doing other shit at the same time.
You're like, what is happening?
So yeah, so I was very much like bobbing my head, like fake drumming and all sorts of shit. And then I'm like, what is happening right now? Though I don't.
And then this is spoilery, but then the damn title track starts, and you're like, you are ruining this album.
Yeah. So I did not specifically like anything off the album, but I do not hate it.
Right.
Yes.
Which I know this sounds silly to say that it sounds music snobby-ish, but I think that's a huge thing for both you and I. Like, I think both of us came into this being like, how do we say nicely that this sucks? And I all don't think this sucks. Like, it really does. And we'll get into the stinkers in a minute. But there's so much other good music on the record. And I will say that too, that somewhere along the line I did hear that maybe it was that night on the VMAs, maybe they did the title track on the VMAs that night or something, and I was like, nope. I just don't like that cut. But
I had Welcome to the Black Parade beat into my head so much in the past that like I just assumed that all of their music was going to sound like that.
Right.
And it very much doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it's very different.
I was able to distance myself from that track on the record and then kind of get lost in what else there is.
Well, it's like for me, Dead, like I said, sounds like I Want You to Want Me by Cheap Trick, right? And then Teenagers sounds like Keep Your Hands to Yourself by the Georgia Satellites. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a southern rock song. And they need a better drummer, by the way, because I'm a sucker for a drum breakdown, and the drummer in that is just not doing his job right in the breakdown of Teenagers.
Did you write them a letter?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I haven't sent it off yet. I'm going to have you proofread it before. Because I don't want to be hurtful. I want to be helpful.
I don't want to say this. I have a 6 degrees of separation between me and them, so I could actually probably get the letter there if you
I would
want.
appreciate it if you would. And then, so the other day I went on YouTube and looked up a live version of it just to see if the drummer was better live on it. And then he had someone else playing the cowbell part for him. And I was like, oh, you're not even good enough to play that drum part. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll stop pooping on you.
I will say that what's his name? Gerard, the lead singer?
Yeah.
I don't like his voice in general, but so much of the album kind of is different than one another that like I was able to distance myself from that as well. Yeah.
And that's another comparison I can make to The Wall too, is Roger Waters is not a good singer. And there's a lot of stuff on The Wall that you're like, he's in character, he's on purpose singing poorly, right? Like screaming or whatever. But there's a lot of stuff that Roger Waters is singing like in earnest on the album. And you're like, oh no, you should have Dave sing that, you know? So, but with this band, you only have the one singer. So it's like, it's all going to come from him. And if you don't like, it's like Rush. If you don't like Geddy Lee's voice, you're going to be in for a hard time. Yeah. Michelle, what are your favorite songs on this album? She's going to be like all of it except for the title track.
Basically, but my 3 all-time favorite songs are "I Don't Love You, Mama" and "Famous Last Words."
Things are going to go poorly in a second. But as far as the jammy jams that we listed off, like there was nothing that I had in my favorites.
Dead is a jam. Cancer's a jam. Teenagers is a jam. But as Kyle said, the rest of the album besides the Black Parade is a jam.
What about the hidden track Blood?
We're not talking about that.
Okay, but it's part of the album.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I guess that's a stinker too then.
When that came out, I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
It's like a pirate shanty song or whatever.
There's a hidden track on a Stripes record called, I'm not going to come up with it, but it's a song that's like Jack and whoever was his girlfriend at the time and Meg, like all 3. It's like a conversation song between the 3 of them, and that's the vibe I got from this. I was like, nope, this shouldn't be, this should have just been left off. I feel like they just
got real drunk and they were like, let's put this on the album.
Yeah.
When I seen that it said hidden track by, I immediately felt a little sad because I was like, oh man, this like would have been awesome if I was listening to the CD and it just came on and I wasn't expecting it. But now that I'm streaming it and I can see that it just says hidden track.
Yeah. It still has the minute of silence in the beginning of it.
Yeah, streaming a hidden track out in plain sight. Thanks for the spoiler. As far as stinkers go, this is going to end real poorly, but this is how I disappear. I thought it starts great and then it just completely, like you said, a lot of the album I could leave on, and I don't mean this in a bad way, and just let it go.
Yeah.
And This Is How I Disappear is a song that after the intro to it, I was like, I really want to skip this, but I can't because,
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. The title track, I greatly dislike. I never have liked it. Nothing changed here for me. And then now the next song on here was one of your best tracks, but I wrote very extensive notes as to why I don't like it. So I'm going to tell you the name of the song and then I'm going to read my notes in their entirety. Okay. Okay.
Go on.
Mama was the song. And here goes. This is the entirety of my notes. No, just no.
As I was listening to it, I was like, Russ hates this.
Turns out you're right.
I didn't even hate it. I just was like, there were two tracks. I didn't even feel this way about the title track, but the This Is How I Disappear and Mama, both of them, I was like, you're doing this for an album review. It's not right if you skip it. You know, like I literally wanted to skip it real bad.
I literally skipped Welcome to the Black Parade every single time I listened to it because I listened to it.
But you know the song.
I know the song. And today I was like, no, I have to listen to it front to back without skipping it. And I couldn't even make it through the whole song. I was just like, this has got to go.
Damn. Kyle, what do you got for stinkers? I wait for it to be like all of it.
Still all of it.
While I do think the entire album is stinky, Welcome to the Black Parade is a 100% stinker.
That's like Rotten Tomatoes. It's like certified.
Yes, and also the hidden track that's not hidden if you're listening to it on streaming, Blood, is also just a weird stinker.
I wasn't even sure how to classify that, but that would have been a stinker if I would have.
Yeah, I didn't know we were actually counting hidden tracks.
Yeah, so yes, we are, and it's a stinker.
It is a stinker. No, I agree. I just thought I can actually remember when I got the CD and finding it, and then like being excited, and then also very disappointed that it was just like a mess at the end. But yeah.
Did I mess up and not ask for your stinkers yet, Michelle? Or do you have any stinkers?
It's just Welcome to the Black Parade.
Just the title.
Just that one.
That's
oh,
fair.
and Blood, I guess, if we're counting that.
Yeah, well, we are because it's part of the album.
Then Blood and Welcome to the Black Parade.
Thank you. So as far as open discussion on the record goes, my entire problem with this album started with a very real interview with Gerard Way on the pre-show of the 2006 VMAs. And I can tell you, all I can do is tell you when it happened, and you can go from there. You can go to goggle.com and try and find the interview.
I'm going to.
And they were talking about the album. Now here's the thing. If you're going to you can talk about how great your album is and how much work you put into it and so on, but what you can't do is you can't say that it is better than X album or this generation's X album. You can't do that. And if you're going to do that, you have to take certain things out of your vocabulary. You cannot say our singer is this generation's Freddie. You can't say this is this generation's Pet Sounds. You can't, and this goes out directly to Terrence Trent D'Arby if he's listening, you cannot say that this is this generation's Sgt. Pepper, because that's why Terrence Trent D'Arby only had the one big hit album, because when he was doing interviews for the second album, he kept telling everybody that his second album was this generation's Sgt. Pepper, and everyone was like, no, it is not. So Gerard Way decided to attack me personally and say that the Black Parade was this generation's The Wall. Now, needless to say, we had to buy a new TV the next day because I threw my remote control through the one that we had at the time. And you can't say that. And it turned me off immediately to it. Now, what he could have done and should have done was said, this is an homage to. We took a bunch of ideas from, we were heavily influenced by.
Pink Floyd was a very big influence of ours.
Yeah. Like, if you love The Wall, there's probably going to be something here for you, because
Did you find it Wall-esque?
In as much as it's a story and a character telling a story, yes. Musically, no, because the Wall is amazing. And
so is this album. Weird.
Yeah. Oh, my bad then. Yes, exactly like The Wall. Exactly.
So he wasn't wrong.
So that's the thing, is I can say that about your album all day long. You can't. The person who made it can't go around.
Can't give yourself a nickname either.
Saying that, and you can't give yourself a nickname. So you can't do that. And so for me, that was immediate. Like I told you, thing was similar to what it sounds like you really didn't want anything to do with them at all. But when I had heard, like when she would play the other stuff or Zach's mom played Helena, I wasn't like mad that it was on or anything, but this is the thing where I was like, well, now I don't want anything to do with you, and I just was like, nope, I'm not having this. And then it doesn't help that I'm 90% sure they did the title track on the VMAs that night. And I was like, no.
I don't understand why people are so afraid to talk about what has inspired something to be or sound like something else.
Right.
Because everything comes from something. This shit that's going on now is not original. It's inspired by something else.
And it's not like The Wall would be something to be ashamed of. It's a top 5 largest selling. It's a double album that's a top 5 largest selling record of all time.
So when you say that you're inspired by that, everyone's like, okay, I can see that. When you say that you're the next person to carry that torch is the problem.
That was I have had a 15-year-long now problem with my Chemical Romance, and it all goes back to that one thing, because you can't say that. You just can't do that. And also, like you said, like where's the dishonor in saying that anyways? I promise you, Michelle, this is real. It happened. The only reason I was even watching the VMAs that night is because they kept saying that Axl Rose was going to appear. And then at the end of the show, he came out, yelled, "Welcome, do you know where you are?" and introduced the Killers and walked away. And that was it.
That's such an Axl thing to do.
It was such a weird thing. They had Jack Black introduce Axl so Axl could introduce the Killers. And that was the only reason why he was there. But then in the process, Gerard Way was like, I want to let you know you're never going to be a fan. And I was like, well, thank you for that. So that was why I've had a grudge against this album for so long. And I feel very justified in my stance on that. I feel like Michelle does not feel like I'm justified.
I do not.
Okay. And why? Like, what? Okay, I don't even know how to, if someone did that.
Because we're separating the people from the music.
Yeah, but he's talking directly about the music. And it's like, dude, there's no way that's true. So why would I bother?
But you can listen to the music and decide for yourself.
Well, they did the damn title track that night.
Which
and
is
I was
awful.
like, yeah. So you see where the problem is. You know what I'm saying? Like, then they went and played the title cut, and I was like, well, no, this is not anywhere near. You know what I mean? If they had done Teenagers, it might have been a whole different ballgame. The whole last 15 years could have been different.
I listen to a lot of rap, and if somebody came out and said, "Oh, you know what? I'm this generation's Tupac, or I'm this generation's Biggie," I would be like, "No, the fuck you are not."
Right. Now, you can say that.
Yeah.
You can, in our Jammy Jams, you can sit here all day and go, dude, I found the next Biggie.
Yes.
But that guy can't say that about that. Yeah. And then, to me, there's no reason to be like, oh, well, let me hear what this guy thinks is so good. Like, that to me, you just say that to get people mad and to listen to your stuff, and I choose the other route.
Right.
You choose violence?
Yes. So I want to talk specifically about Teenagers for a minute because, and I realize that I'm laboring the point on my favorite song on the album. There are 2 songs in the past 15 years or so that I remain stunned got away with lyrics that they did. One is Icky Thump by the White Stripes. That line, the second verse of Icky Thump that says, white Americans, what? Nothing better to do. Why don't you kick yourself out? You're an immigrant too. I can't believe more people weren't like enraged by that line. Bad people, by the way. Like, I wasn't like, that line makes sense. Let's all rise up. Like, I can't believe more bad people haven't been like, how dare you? You know, the second verse in Teenagers, how no one talks about this. And like me, it's another correlation to The Wall. It's I get that it's the character saying that about, more or less taking a gun and eliminating people that are giving you a hard time. And I can't believe that a lot, like Floyd got in a world of trouble for We Don't Need No Education because people didn't understand that it was a character saying this, So like, and they just put out this verse being more or less like, hey, take a gun and take out people that you don't agree with or that don't like you. How has no one ever talked about that? I think
the one thing that saved them from that is the demographic of people who listen to them.
Yeah.
So there's not the angry 45-year-old man is not listening to My Chemical Romance and doesn't give 2 shits about anything going on.
So it's good I heard it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But no,
people who would be overly offended by someone's.
Well, that's
like
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Though that's the danger. Is somebody hears it, takes it out of context, and then makes it. And I can't believe a big deal has never been made of this.
Well, it's like Brown Sugar, man.
Yeah,
it's still on the radio.
By the way, did you know that the Stones took that out of their set list? And Mick Jagger was like, "It's because we don't want to argue about it. There's nothing argue about, dude.
Well, thank you then, I guess.
Yeah.
Still unapologetic this many years later.
Yeah,
He does not give a fuck.
Thanks.
Don't change the lyrics or anything.
We're not
just
arguing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're right, and we're just not going to argue.
Yeah. So I just was like, and for the record, like teenagers, I think should never be taken out of the set list. I'm not arguing for censoring
No,
this
yeah.
song.
Yeah.
I get the song and I get the perspective that the song is sung from. I just can't believe that no senator's ever taken that out of context and had a hearing over it. You know what I mean? And been like, this is
And I
Say
think
that
that-
too loud, man.
I think the same thing with Icky Thump is that people who would be offended aren't listening to it.
People don't listen
Right.
to lyrics.
Have you seen
That's
the
true, yeah.
T-shirt that Third Man has for that specific
No.
lyric? They have a shirt, and again, we're not a political show, but they have a shirt that's a red shirt, and on the back it just has that verse, not all the lyrics for Icky Thump, just that
Yeah.
verse, and on the front it says Icky Trump.
I need it.
They sell it at Third Man right downtown.
Like, I can get it right now.
Yeah, you can walk in and
God.
get it right now. They have it all. It's in stock all the time. It's a
I'm going to wear that
red
to work
T-shirt
every day.
Oh, you totally should. But anyways, but like my chem, as far as I know, didn't have a T-shirt with that lyric on the back. It was like, hey, take this out of context. But I would be shocked if I didn't text you like the day I heard those lyrics and was like, because wow.
Yeah, Michelle brings up a good point is that people just don't pay attention to lyrics.
No, which sucks.
Yes.
The only other thing I want to say on this record, and if you guys have points, by all means, bring out anything you want to say about it. I think, Kyle, you said a lot earlier when you were like, I went into wanting to dislike this, and
Yes.
my brain on its own was like, there's some good stuff here.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if this album hasn't helped a lot of people emotionally.
100%.
Yeah. And I think that's great. Even if I was going to come on here and go, I'm sorry, the whole thing sucks. Somehow I dislike teenagers now. Like, and again, this is a comparison to The Wall for me, is like The Wall has helped me so much as a person. And I could see an entire generation being helped by this record.
Yep.
Like, I would assume that their fan base is smart enough to get all of the things said on the record are from a character, and not like, again, teenagers, not don't go out and do these things.
Right.
That's part of the lesson. But I would be stunned if a lot of people who are connected to this music isn't because it's helped them in their own lives.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
Oh, for 100%.
Has it, and don't mean to put you on the spot or anything, but has this record helped you with that? Or
So I was 20 when this record came out?
it was back when you were young,
No, 2006?
It's
Yeah.
been a long time.
20, yeah. I just turned 20.
before you had MTV and you couldn't see that interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can distinctly remember putting this CD player in my car and just like, this is what you do. Like when you rage out and you like go for a drive and like I absolutely did that with this CD.
Right. Lyrically, did anything hit you where you were like, holy crap, like I understand something or someone better because of that, or no?
I found that listening to it now, I have memories of what I would like interpret the lyrics to be when I first heard it.
Right.
And then I hear them differently now because I'm in a different place in my life.
Sure.
Where I was like, oh, I thought this song meant like something else. And
Yeah.
now it means something different to me now. And so,
Right.
but I don't do that with a lot of albums. Like I don't feel that way. Like the lyrics don't really change to me, but this album for some reason does.
Reinvents itself
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
And it has been a long time since I listened to it front to back. So.
I say this completely, like, not for the joke of it, but in my experience, that's a getting old thing. Like the older the older that I get, songs
alert.
songs reinvent themselves to me constantly. Well, now that now that you have a child, wait till you say. Yes. Well, we don't know. My wife has the baby right now, so we don't know. There's always
She's
a
on her way
chance
to Mexico.
There's always a chance every week that you're not getting her back.
Yeah.
But you're going to start rehearing a lot of songs that you'll reinterpret in your life as a parent now. And you're going to be like, that's what he meant when he wrote that. Or,
Yeah.
where you'll be like, oh yeah. But I would be shocked if this record hasn't saved lives.
Yeah, as much as the emo genre gets bashed for what it is, that genre in particular played an important part in allowing people to latch on to it.
Yeah.
And you're right. A lot of different songs and bands and stuff, I'm sure, have saved countless lives by the stuff that they've done.
For sure.
Do you watch The Umbrella Academy?
No.
Okay. Kyle doesn't either.
Any
he wrote it.
reason why this needs to come up during our show?
Gerard Way wrote it.
Oh, okay. I swear to God, I thought you were just like, hey guys, you watch TV?
I thought you were just Michelleing this episode up.
No, I thought you guys knew that. So yeah, he wrote the graphic novel. And
well, that's cool though.
Yeah.
I knew he was involved in the comic industry, but I didn't know that was his thing.
Yeah, so he wrote that.
Is it as good as Superman? Did he come out and say that? Is it this generation's Superman?
Yes, he did say that.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. We should get him on the show. Okay, Gerard, thanks for coming on the show. I want to directly address something you said 15 years ago on a VMA pre-show.
We can get his brother on too, probably.
Yeah. Would you buy this album is a question we always ask, and I think this is the shocker that will come for me is, yes, I would buy this album.
What?
Yes, I would buy this album now. The only thing I've
Christmas
ever owned...
is coming.
the only thing I've ever owned from the My Chemical Romance up till this point is I have a double LP set of their greatest hits album, and the only reason why I own that is for teenagers because it's the first song on side C, and so
instead
I can
of just buying the record that it's on.
Instead of buying, I absolutely protested and did not buy the Black Parade.
Yeah.
I absolutely, because I know the other two songs, so I was like, well, I'll have those too. And then Teenagers is the first song on side C, so I can put that on, drop the needle, hear that, and then never have to hear anything else. But I would absolutely, if I were in the record store and had some money, I would buy this album now. Like, I wouldn't rush out today to buy it. If I was there and it was there, I would no longer.
If your fate's met.
I would no longer tell a stranger. I would no longer tell a stranger about how I was waiting for Axl Rose once and that guy insulted the wall.
I'm pretty sure you'll lead with that, but then also be like, but you should buy the record.
Yeah, but I'm going to buy it anyways. So yes, I would. All cards on the table. I would buy this album now. Kyle. I'm assuming this is a resounding no.
I would not buy this record. I would accept a CD to put in my car in the CD player so I would be surprised by the bonus track when it came on. Because bonus tracks excite me.
They do.
But that bonus track is exceptionally terrible.
Yeah.
But no, I would not buy the record.
So stocking stuffer for Kyle.
Yes.
Because he would accept a CD.
I would accept it.
I'm pretty sure I have it in my CD book in the basement, so
perfect.
You can put it in your van.
Great. Michelle, so you have bought this album. Do you own it on vinyl? Let's put it that way. And if you don't, would you go buy it on vinyl?
So I'm like 99% sure I do. I meant to look this week, and I was going to put it on. I'm like 99% sure I already own it.
Well, if you don't own it on vinyl already, I gave you a gift card to a record store for your birthday like 6 months ago.
If I don't own it, I should hurry up and buy it.
Yeah, there you go.
But I have purchased it before.
You have bought it. You would buy it. You would tell other people to buy it.
Well, I would not tell Kyle to buy it. I already knew he wasn't going to like it. But if people are in the scene kids, I would tell them to check it out.
Because they would not have heard of it already.
So, like, let's just say it's 2006, and someone asked me, and I'd be like, do you like this? And they would be like, yes. And I'd be like, then you should definitely listen to this.
There were so many qualifiers on that.
Do you like Pink Floyd's The Wall? So, here, check this out.
You like Pink
Sounds
Floyd's
just
The Wall?
like it.
Want to hear something better?
It is better.
It is in no way, shape, or form better.
Anyways.
Rating. We always end these reviews with our ratings, a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. For me, I'm going to rate this album a 7, which I think is higher than you might have been expecting. I'm taking it down 2 notches for 2 stinkers and that quote. That's where
it was 5 max because of the quote. Before you even listened to it, you were like,
oh no, before I listened to it, I was at a 2.
Oh.
And all 8 points were for the quote.
2 and 8 is 10.
And I was giving it 2 points for teenagers.
Ah. Okay.
So I have now upped it to a 7.
Okay.
There are 2 stinkers that I didn't like in that quote. So I feel that is more than a fair.
That's a fair shake.
Representation of my opinion. Kyle, are you right around a 5?
Yeah, I was going to say 4.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 4. It's not like, it didn't make my ears bleed, but it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to listen to.
It sucks when someone gives something you love such a low rating, doesn't it?
It's not Pet Sounds, so it's fine.
Yeah, at least it's not Pet Sounds. Go on, Kyle.
Yeah, it's listenable.
4 is listenable?
But it is not, it's not something I would go out of my way to listen to.
So if I put it on, you wouldn't run over to the record player and smash it on the ground?
Correct.
Okay. Noted.
Would you start running a Snapchat and then try it, and we'll see what happens? I just want to see what happens.
It'll be my first TikTok.
I was going to say that we could start an infectious group TikTok, and that could be the first one. Michelle, where do you rate this album? If it's a 10 out of 10, I swear to God, this show's over.
It's an 8, and it's because 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge is better than this, in my opinion. And a point off for Welcome to the Black Parade.
Right on.
Blood, it's just there. It doesn't really affect me. It's a stinker, but
yeah, we could probably do a whole episode about hidden tracks sometimes, but like, I don't know why, but I just don't count it in with the whole record.
Yeah.
It doesn't ruin the record for me, and it's just like there.
I'll tell you what ruins the record for me is the placement of the title track.
I was going to say, I feel like the entire record flows except for that fucking title track.
Just in the wrong spot, everything. Yep.
It ruins everything.
It does. It really does.
The correct spot for that song would have been not on the record.
Yeah, the correct song for that. Assuming that they recorded the album on Cubase or one of the high-end digital audio workshops, the correct place for that song would have been the recycle bin.
Yeah, yes.
You're up in the upper left-hand corner.
We don't need a title track on this record. It's fine.
Yeah, it would be fine with me. That's happened before. There's no song called The Wall, so if they really wanted to be like The Wall, they could have just done that, you know. There's Another Brick in the Walls, yes, but no, there's no song called The Wall. That is our wrap up on the Black Parade. I feel like we're probably going to get 7 or 8 voicemails from Seth on this because there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah. I wonder what Seth's rating is.
Hopefully he leaves that for us. I would like to find that out.
Yeah.
And we are moving forward. Like I say, every other week is an album review. And then when we come back next week, we really haven't talked much about one-hit wonders on this show yet. So next week, we're just going to talk about, I think, some of our favorite one-hit wonders, which I think will automatically lead to that debate of, well, that's not a one-hit wonder. Well, yeah, it is, you know, and that type of thing, too. Because I feel like for some people, like, I don't know, Michelle, you may have only heard one song by a band ever.
I was going to say, I feel like I have a lot of one-hit wonders.
She's going to be like, you know who's one of my favorite one-hit wonders? It's Aerosmith. You ever heard that song, Dream On? Yeah, you know, they had other hits, too. They did not.
I've seen them.
So I think that'll just be a fun discussion. And then when we circle back around to album reviews, unfortunately for everybody. The only reason why I'm scared about your album review is because you're so excited.
I'm excited because I'm ahead of the fucking game.
I can't wait for 2 weeks from now when I'm like, and Michelle, what's your album? And she goes, oh, I forgot.
I have 2.
Oh, my Lord.
Figure out which one I want to pick.
Like we always say about this time, without music, life would be a mistake. Bye.
Infectious Groove podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Koselecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Opening credits read by Stacey Robinson. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.